So I want to make this video about what I think went wrong with DJ in his time at Clemson. It's one of the more confusing aspects of Clemson recently is how DJ, this 5-star recruit, number 2 quarterback in the country behind Bryce Young, how he just ended up not performing well at Clemson. And I feel like Clemson fans, a lot of us at least, really just blame DJ. And I'm one of them, right? Like, I've blamed DJ for a lot of things. His accuracy is not very good. His decision-making didn't seem great. His confidence wasn't good. And he just, for some reason, just couldn't put it together on the field, right? Go back and look at the ACC Championship game against North Carolina. First play of the game, DJ throws the ball 2 feet in front of Joseph Ngata. The first play of the second half with Cade, it's the same exact play call. Props to Brandon Streeter for doing that. Same exact play call, and Cade hits him in stride, right? 6-yard gain. So DJ had his own faults, but I think as Clemson fans, we beat him up way too much. And I'm going to take a different approach. I don't think DJ's issues at Clemson were the result of DJ. I think there were other factors. Mainly, I'm going to blame the coaches, okay? I'm going to blame recruiting. I'm going to blame the transfer portal, obviously. And then I'm going to blame Brandon Streeter, right? And Tony Elliott, okay? So by recruiting, what do I mean? Well, if you go back and look at 2019, 2020, and 2021, go look at the receivers that we signed. They're almost exclusively tall, 6'4" wide receivers, okay? So in 2019, it's Joseph Ngata, he's 6'4". Frank Ladson, he's 6'4". Brandon Spector in the slot, okay? 2020, it's E.J. Williams, 6'3", Ajo, 6'4". 2021, Dakari Collins, 6'5", Bo Collins, 6'3", and Troy Stellato, right? So we signed essentially 2 slot wide receivers in a 3-year period and nothing but tall guys. And essentially that's all DJ had to work with. Add in Justin Ross as well from 2018, who's also 6'4". And that's basically all of DJ's wide receivers. Now, why this is a problem? It's simple. When you have 3 6'4" wide receivers that all do the same thing, there's no diversity there. And to show you that it's not just DJ that struggles with this, Trevor struggled mightily with this. Go back to 2019. We're fresh off a national championship. We just blew out Alabama 44-16. Trevor looked phenomenal as a freshman. We're getting Travis Etienne back, T. Higgins back, Justin Ross back, Amari Rodgers back. Every Clemson fan thought our offense was going to be unstoppable. We thought our offense was going to be what LSU's offense was that year, right? Just completely unstoppable. We were going to score 45, 50 points a game. Nobody could hold up on us. Go back and look at the beginning of the year, right? Georgia Tech. Sure, we won 52-14, but how'd Trevor do? Right? Trevor struggled bad, right? 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 13 of 23, less than 200 yards. And then Texas A&M the following game, we won 24-10, I believe. Trevor threw 1 touchdown, 1 interception, struggled with accuracy. 2 games into the season, we were thinking this offense is going to be unstoppable, and here's Trevor struggling bad. 2 touchdowns, 3 picks in the first 2 games. And why was that? Well, go back and look at who the starting wide receivers were. Amari Rodgers tears his ACL in the spring, so he missed the first game. Our starting wide receivers, T. Higgins, 6'4", Justin Ross, 6'4", DeAndre Overton in the slot at 6'5". That just is not going to work, right? The year before, we have T. Higgins and Ross in the in the field, right? These are your 2 vertical threats. Hunter Renfrow in the slot, obviously the GOAT of slot wide receivers. And then you had Amari Rodgers in the boundary. Amari Rodgers was our screen threat, our jet sweep threat, our underneath threat. Hunter Renfrow also our underneath threat, our 3rd and short threat, right? These were guys that can create separation instantly against man coverage and make plays. They make you respect the short passing game. We can throw a screen to Amari Rodgers, and there's a threat that he can take it 70 yards, right? Hunter Renfrow on slants and out routes, man coverage, 3rd and short. Huge threat. You had to focus on that. Put in all tall wide receivers, and what do? Who's the threat? Who's the screen threat? We're going to throw screens to T. Higgins. He's not going to take it 70 yards to the house. We're going to throw screens to Justin Ross or DeAndre Overton. They're not a big threat in the screen game. And then jet sweeps, right? Who's going to come in motion and catch a jet sweep from Trevor that year, right? Is it going to be Justin Ross? He's 6'4". It's not like he's got 4.4 speed. It's not like he can make people miss an open field. DeAndre Overton can't do that, 6'5", right? Who's your third and short guy? Who's going to go win one-on-one against a nickel corner on an out route or a slant? Or who's going to win on a slant on the outside against an outside corner, right? Who's your quick passing game? Who do we go to, right? Trevor didn't have that in those first two games of 2019. Amari Rodgers came back later, and Trevor started playing better, magically, right? Like, no, the defense doesn't have to respect the short passing game. All they can do is play too high safety and take away the deep passing game. It's that simple. And DJ is going to run into that problem. And the thing that DJ was missing that Trevor had was Travis Etienne, right? Etienne was the ultimate security blanket, right? I can throw screens to Etienne. I can do short passing game to Etienne, right? And he was very effective at it because Etienne can take a screen and take it 90 yards to the house, okay? I say that because let's enter DJ's sophomore year, first year as a starter, okay? 2021, right? Coming off those 2 starts against Boston College and Notre Dame, phenomenal. I think we all thought he's going to be the next big thing. He threw for 400 yards at Notre Dame, right? He had Amari Rodgers, he had Cornell Powell, he had Travis Etienne to really carry the load that game, right? So DJ starts off sophomore year. We're playing against Georgia. Who are our starting wide receivers? It's Joseph Ngata, 6'4", Frank Ladson, 6'4", Justin Ross, 6'4". Who's behind them? E.J. Williams, 6'3", Ajo, 6'4". That's essentially our top 5 wide receivers. And then we're going to get Dakari Collins, 6'5", and Bo Collins, 6'3". Those are our wide receivers. Like, Trevor struggled with all tall wide receivers for the reasons I mentioned. Of course, DJ is going to struggle with them. Really, who is your short passing game? Who is it? You're not throwing screens to any of these guys. They're not a threat on the screen game. They're not a threat in the short passing game. Joseph Ngata isn't the guy that takes a 3rd and 4 out route for a first down beating the corner. That doesn't happen, right? If you look at what teams played us, defenses played us, they played 2 high safeties, usually man coverage, and they forced us to beat them underneath. And we couldn't do it because we just didn't have that wide receiver to do it. We didn't have Hunter Renfrow. We didn't have Amari Rodgers, right? All we had were all 6'4" wide receivers. And then make matters worse for DJ, we didn't have Travis Etienne, right? I love Will Shipley. I love Phil Moffitt. I think Kobe Pace is even going to be a great running back. And we had all 3 of those guys as freshmen when DJ, in 2021 DJ, right? But none of them are Travis Etienne. Etienne's the best running back school's ever had. Best running back in Clemson history. You know, Shipley's not taking a 70 yards screen to the house. Neither is Phil Moffitt. Kobe Pace certainly wasn't going to do that either. None of them were the threat in the passing game that Etienne was for Trevor, right? So, again, number one thing why I think DJ struggled, recruiting. We just recruited all tall wide receivers, and I'm just not sure why we did that. I think maybe it's because the coaches thought, well, DJ's got a big arm. We'll just take shots vertically. T. Higgins, Justin Ross, Mike Williams, we could take shots to them all day, and they would beat people one-on-one. And maybe the assumption was, and Ngata and Ladson and EJ, we're going to do the same. I don't know. All right, so the second thing is obviously, I mentioned at the beginning, the transfer portal. Why we don't use the transfer portal, knowing that these problems exist, is beyond me. How do you look at that receiving core and see nothing but 6'4" guys and think to yourself, why not bring in a slot wide receiver, or why not bring in a speed threat? Why? I don't understand how the coaches go about this. How do they think 6'4" receiver is going to work when Trevor showed you just 2 years prior that it didn't work? It didn't work for Trevor, one of the best quarterback prospects of all time, right? He couldn't manage with all tall wide receivers. Why do they think DJ was going to do it? I'm not sure. We'll never know the answer to that, right? But not only transfer portal wide receiver, we should have gotten those guys, but also offensive line, right? Marcus Tate starting left guard as true freshman. Mac Bockhorst has to go from guard to center, a position he'd never played before. The fact that we don't bring in transfer portal players, just none of it makes any sense to me. I'm just so confused at that coaching decision. The transfer portal's there, you got to use it, and there are better players in the portal, some of them, than what we currently have on our roster. If we have holes, which we did, you need to fill them with transfer portal players. For some reason, our coaches just refuse to do that. Hoping that changes moving forward. Obviously, the hiring of Garrett Riley shows that Dabo's willing to make adjustments firing Brandon Streeter 1 year after promoting him to offensive coordinator shows me that Dabo understands the problems facing the program right now. The transfer portal is definitely one. We got to start utilizing it. All right, the third thing I mentioned at the beginning is Brandon Streeter and Tony Elliott. Let's just be honest. They're average at best offensive coordinators. Neither one of them are offensive geniuses. And so I think the culmination of all of these things, right? Nothing but tall wide receivers when DJ's a sophomore. Failure to use a transfer portal to booster your wide receivers and offensive line, and Brandon Streeter and Tony Elliott being average at best offensive coordinators. It's no wonder why DJ wasn't successful. Right? The coaches failed him in recruiting. They failed to surround him with better players from the transfer portal. And they failed him because they're just average coaches. At the end of the day, they're just not elite offensive minds like Garrett Riley is. Right? I truly believe if DJ had Garrett Riley as his offensive coach, he would have done a lot better. And I'm really rooting for him at Oregon State because he's such a talented player. He's got such a big arm, one of the biggest arms I've ever seen. By all indications, he's an incredibly hard worker. And I really want it to work out for him. I feel like as Clemson fans, we just put so much blame on him when in reality, I think it's more of a coaching problem. I think the staff just failed DJ. I don't think DJ failed the team. I think DJ really did the best that he could. And he had off-the-field issues, right? Stuff in his personal life that went on. You know, he definitely lost confidence. You could tell that. He battled through injuries his sophomore year. He's not blameless in this situation. He definitely has accuracy issues. He looks like a deer in headlights sometimes, right? There are things that he definitely needs to work on. But I don't know, the more time that goes by, the more I just want to blame the coaches for his failures, right? I don't think it was him. I think it was the coaches. But moving forward, right, Garrett Riley, new offense coordinator with Cade Klubnik, I don't think that's going to happen again. I don't think the repeat's going to happen. I think we have more diverse wide receivers than we have had before. The funny thing, the ironic thing now actually is we had nothing but tall wide receivers with DJ. Now we don't really have any tall wide receivers. Adam Randall's the only one with any experience. Noble Johnson and Ronan Hannafin, two freshmen, they're probably big, tall, vertical threats. I guess Bo Collins as well can do it. Before, that's all we had. Nowadays, we have a lot more of the short, intermediate passing game guys, which is funny. We actually need more vertical threats going into next year. Hopefully, coaches learn their lesson. Dabo, in particular, use the portal. Go find a vertical threat wide receiver in the portal. There's got to be someone there that can come in and impact us literally next year. But that's my take on DJ, right? You know, I'm going to wish him all the best at Oregon State. I hope he has a great year. I hope he finds a way to play himself into NFL because he's just so talented. And apparently, by all indications, such a hard worker. I hope it really works out for him. I think the coaches failed him at Clemson. I'm hoping the coaches do not fail him at Oregon State. So with this channel, I'm going to keep making more videos. I'm actually buying equipment to sort of make the videos a little bit better. I have a light right now. You can see it shining on me. I'm going to make a little nice setup probably to make the videos more aesthetically pleasing. I'm going to get a mic to make it sound better. I'm going to have a lot of things coming. What would help me do all of this is likes, comments, and subscribing. All of them are free to do. Right? It doesn't cost you anything to like the video. It doesn't cost you anything to comment on the video. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. It definitely helps you grow. There is a path to monetization. Based off the number of viewers I have, it's easy for me to be able to get there, right? I'm going to keep putting out more content. Hopefully it keeps getting the same amount of views, if not more, that I have been getting. The biggest thing right now is subscribing, right? I have a video with over 1,200 views right now, and I have 130 subscribers. So 90% of the viewers aren't subscribed. It's free. Please help, right? I'm trying to monetize this. the more money I receive from this, the more I can invest in making the product better. So that's my ultimate goal. Anyways, yeah, so please like, comment, subscribe on the video, and look out for the next one. All right, thanks.